Hi everybody and big welcome to a cEDh card review for Orcish Bowmaster. This is a black and 1 for a creature orc archer. It's not legendary, but sometimes we talk about cards that aren't legendary on this channel as well that are good for the cEDh format, and this is definitely a good card for the cEDh format. It has flash, so you can cast it whenever you want. It is a 1/1. When Orcish Bowmaster enters the battlefield and whenever an opponent draws a card except for the first one they draw on each of their draw steps, Orcish Bowmaster deals 1 damage to any target, then amass Orcs 1. I would like to point out that when Orcish Bowmaster enters the battlefield and whenever an opponent draws a card, it means that it's gonna do something when it comes into play, but also continuously to do something whenever your opponents are drawing too many cards. This means that this is more or less a clean upgrade to cEDh Parasite, 1 black mana only. If you control a red permanent, you don't need to control a red permanent in Orcish Bowmaster's case, but in the case of cEDh Parasite you have to control a red permanent for it to actually be active. And it only deals damage to the person drawing a card, except that it also deals them damage when they draw the card in their normal draw step as well. Orcish Bowmaster will trigger on every extra card they draw outside of the normal draw. However, Orcish Bowmaster can redirect the damage to wherever it wants. And Orcish Bowmaster will also create like a very big token creature as well. So if someone would cause one of their many different wheel effects, then you can do 21 damage spread out however you want to creatures and players as well. 1 damage divided as you choose. And that would make it very similar to a Fire Covenant. Except that you can also do damage to people's face. Like once you've killed all of your opponent's creatures, you start doing damage to their face. But it functions like a hate bear versus, for example, a Peer into the Abyss, because they're going to draw half their deck, usually 40 cards, which means they're gonna die. Now this has flash, so you can actually catch someone trying to go for a Peer into the Abyss. Depending on the situation, you could actually kill 2 players here, because if they draw 40 cards and they have a lower than 40 life, you can send damage to other players and other creatures that is like outside their total life total. So yeah, kinda cool. And you will make a really huge creature as well. I mean, I'm starting to have a feeling you're already seeing why this card is absolutely amazing. It's a hate bear versus these cards too. Like someone is sitting and drawing too many cards with their fish heuristic study, they're gonna lose their creatures and they're gonna feel the damage in their face, and eventually gonna get a very big orc punching them too. A card concept I've always liked is Harsh Mentor, like a creature hate bear of sorts that is interacting with your opponents. Now, Orcish Bowmaster is kinda similar but very different. It actually attacks a different concept. Instead of activating creatures to get a trigger, it triggers when drawing cards, and that's a lot better, similar to cEDh Parasite. But I like the development here. Now, Harsh Mentor is a little bit too weak. I playtested it, didn't really do enough. It was a very weak stacks effect, but Orcish Bowmaster seems like it has a lot of potential. But there's also a value potential in it too. For example, if you enchant it with a Keen Sense, Curiosity, or Ophidian, there's some other things I think too. There's a Snake Umbra. Yeah, more versions of these exist. If you do that, you can deal damage to players' face and draw cards, which ultimately means that whenever one of your opponents draws a card, they take a damage and you draw a card. This means that we've basically created a consecrated sphinx for a lot less mana. 2 cards combination, but less mana. I guess it should be mentioned that this actually already exists in cEDh Parasite with Curiosity. But this is definitely an upgrade. This creature is really good versus Tymna. Whenever Tymna attacks, if she draws more than 2 cards, she will accidentally die. And well, if she's only drawing 1 card, you will ping her Esper Sentinels and their dorks and such. Like, this is a creature that really hunts down dorks and Esper Sentinels. Esper Sentinel will die so fast to this thing. It is really good inside Obnixilis, because this is a 1 damage trigger, which means whenever an opponent draws a card, you're gonna ping them for 1, which is gonna trigger Obnixilis. Perfect! Imagine someone actually casting a wheel and you have Obnixilis in play. That's good. It is also an upgrade for Nimris, Una's Trickster, a 5 mana cost commander. Doesn't see that much play. It's something of a control deck, or attempting to be a control deck, that want to have a lot of instant speed flash interaction, and this is definitely an instant speed flash interaction. Perfect for her. So this is definitely a big powerhouse card that you're gonna see. I think this is gonna go into a lot of different decks actually, because people are drawing quite a lot of cards, and like being able to interact and hit opponent's creatures are kind of okay, kind of good. And if you can't kill any Dorks or any Esper Sentinels or any Tymnas, you can still ping people's face. And eventually you're gonna grow a really huge Orc army. And there are definitely cards that could benefit from that too, like Phyrexian Tower and other effects that demand that you sacrifice creatures, so to say. You can basically sit and sacrifice your Orc token over and over, as you're usually going to just regain it anyway. So I really like where this creature is interacting, but also giving you some form of value as well. I really like the card. It has a very low CMC, it has a good way of actually interacting, it has flash, finally, perfect. We need more creatures with flash so we can interact in instant speed, but also ambush our opponents. Like, this is a creature that could really ambush someone going for a peer into the abyss. In any case, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little short cEDh card review and tutorial. More card reviews are coming up as we're seeing a lot of more spoilers from Lord of the Rings set. Until then, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.